Okay, so welcome back to our web tutorials and our channel, the Web Brothers. If you haven't subscribed, you can go ahead and subscribe for these good videos on how to make quick websites and of course high technology. And this is easy. I'll be providing the source codes. Today we are looking at a website or a blog page where we have a good nav that has some buttons. Okay, the company name, and then the drop downs. You can see this, and then the further inside drop downs. You can see these two. So you can have a title of the article, and then the peak with some buttons which happen to act as tags of the article. Then the sidebar where you can put your quick links or your and all other exciting features. So you can see this is the title of the article here. This is the probably the subtitle, and then you can have more buttons on the sidebar and also buttons on the article here. So this is the body of the article. You can go ahead and edit it, add more, and then down here we have a section of more related articles. You can call them more related articles about the major article that we are seeing. Then we have a very good footer in which we have we can connect to social medias, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and others. We have the recent news, then the about us, of course, quick links, and the copyright section. So we also have a quick access or a back to top button. Once you click it, it takes you back on top. Then we also have a very important section of the subscribe. So people can go ahead and put in their emails here and then click on subscribe, and you will receive the notification in your emailing list that a certain email has been added in your list and it has subscribed to the updates from your channel or from your blog or from your website. So as you can see, that's it. It's a two-column website which I will be coding it manually, and I will show you how to do it manually until from the start till the end. Don't worry. So I think we can start off, okay, by opening our mobirise app. And in our mobirise, we are going to start with an empty project. You can see this is a new empty page. So click plus to add a block. So we are going to add a custom block where we're going to be of course typing or pasting our code, the custom code, until we are done with the website. So first of all, we are going to start with the nav. We are starting from top to bottom, so we are going to start with this navigation bar. We implement the navigation bar perfectly, then we move on to the rest of the body of the page. So if you look at implementing, let's first implement a width custom code. Now we're going to be using this div to put our custom code here. We don't need all this. You can just delete this, and I think also this. We're going to have a completely custom code. Okay, so this is the website, and we can go ahead and see how we are going to implement it. As you can see, it's a full page website, so we hope that you could use this one in your making your websites or blogs or even landing pages or documentation pages, and very many different websites that really need good navs, drop downs like this, and good footers, and not forgetting the subscribe section. Okay, so now let's head over to our mobirise where we had install with our custom code block, and we are going to work on it as fast as possible. So first of all, we're going to implement our HTML. Then after, we're going to also add some CSS, and we see how it really comes out. So now, just like we said, you don't need all this. We're going to do a custom code, but we will start with a section because normally we work in sections. So the navigation is one section, body is another section, stuff like that. So we're starting with the navigation. I will start with not forgetting that we are using Bootstrap 5 as a technology or a website development technology. And if at all you're not familiar with Bootstrap, I will put the link in the description where you will go and check on the documentations, and we see how to go about it. So first of all, we are going to move and create classes. While working on sections, let's give a section this new class called features 19. Then we want to make a group and just decide to make it a full word. Then we want to make some MBR parameters, just like in mobirise. And Bootstrap. We are basically now working on the first setting up of the div parameters, and once we are done with setting up the div parameters, we shall move to the real HTML body code. But as for now, let's set up the div parameters. Just be with me. I'll be providing the code in the description. I mean a link to the source code in the description. Just have to tag along and make sure that you understand most of these things. And apply parameter controls. Make it blue, I think, for this time. You might not be familiar with these parameters, but we are going to apply them at once, not repeating the parameters, so don't worry. Next, we are just going to start the pretty fun HTML plain CSS code, and hopefully it will be picking up. But for these parameters, don't worry, they are just setting up the blocks and how everything is going to be looking. Then let's have the parameters of the header also pasted in here. And you can also have the header conditions implemented. Don't worry about the this code. We're just fixing the parameters in which our blocks are going to work on. So don't worry about it. I know you might not be understanding it, but this is how to set the parameters. Probably at one time I'll have to show you how to do it, but if you're not interested, you wait for the pretty much cool stuff of the HTML, plain HTML, CSS. Once we are done with setting up the parameters. Like I said, don't worry, I'll be providing this code in I'll put the link in the description where we are going to find these header parameters, and then the rest of the code I think you can enjoy the plain HTML CSS. Okay, I think now it could be done with the parameters, hopefully. Image, then after image we put the last input, which happens to be this. Okay, and after this I think we are compelled to say that we can close our header parameters, right? Bring the close, and here parameters. Okay, since that one is done, now we can start the pretty cool CSS HTML, of course, body, main part of the body. So it's actually kind of a good to do because HTML, plain HTML is actually the simplest language, and we have to start with the body or the contents of the header, and then also the nav contents like for the drop down. So first of all, let's implement a div, which is actually the main div. Then we give it a class, and the overview. Yeah, overview like that. So type talk about the color. Then we close the div. So we have the main container implemented here, which is also the main div plus its class. Obviously the normal class, just like the tool, it's now coming, which is the container normally. The div row, the class row must be inside the div, the main div, which is the container. So the row is inside the container, and then we have another div that will be inside the row itself. Under this, we have another div items div. Okay, then Papa. We have another div. Mainly we're going to be using div, which is currently the actually the main domain thing for Bootstrap, or the main domain container, content container, or code container for Bootstrap. With the header file. So this is part 1 of the website, and within this part 1 we are starting with the nav, just as usual. Let's close this. And the code is probably put a custom way mobirise website and YouTube channel. Please subscribe for more videos. Okay. So you can have pretty much have the same HTML code. See what we are doing to improve the web. Yes. So that's an H5 tag. Previously we did an H4. This is an H5 with its MBR classes and also items and fonts and all that. So let's implement a paragraph. The one that we just implemented actually is the first one, which is this one here. So we have also implemented this, which is an H5. This is an H4. This is an H5, and now we are heading over to a paragraph where we're going to have get the latest news about stuff like that, which is actually this one here. So we're going to be implementing this paragraph. I'll give you this source code. Don't worry, it will be available for free. And I'll put the link in the description to my website. And that we have to change a few things. This news from the Web Brothers YouTube channel. Okay. Now after the paragraph, obviously we have to close our div. Remember we had opened the div items, which is this one here. So we have finished implementing our items, so we can successfully close our div. So that's our first section, which happens to be this one here. Now we are going on to the next section that has two columns, this and this, which happens to have a sidebar, and then the main column where we have the article header, subheader, and then the article body. So let's go ahead and implement that too. In a div. Now this div will be containing the contents of the nav, drop downs, and everything. So let's make it faster so that you can work on the nav. This is the first div that introduces you to the website. Then after we shall implement the nav. So by now you will be confident in knowing where we are. But let's implement this very fast, not wasting any time. Okay. Now let's close our divs one by one, and then finally we close our section, which happens to be our first section in the body, and then we shall be implementing its CSS here. I will give you the CSS file to implement, and it will be a little bit quick and simpler now that we've seen how the things work. And when you run, you see that that section is perfectly placed. Okay, so this is it. So probably you can go ahead and change the colors for these buttons to probably red and some other. You can try to change the background to a little bit of that. Then you can also work on the header as fast as possible. So that's it. Now let's look at the nav itself. Just like this one here, the one that has a drop down and the sub drop down also. So that's it. You have to implement another empty block that you can edit a custom code. You don't need all this, and also all this. Like we can say, before we have to first implement our parameters, we already did this. I will provide you the parameter code in your link. Then we can act on the first initialization of the nav. Maybe we want to implement a button around here. Add some controls. And have supported content. Area expanded. Now that one will be false. Let's expand. You can look at area level. Label, looking at its label. You can make it a toggle nav. And make an href. That's a link. And you connect it search.html, because in our website we have a search page, so we have to make a link and we'll connect that icon to the search page. That's why I'm putting search.html, so that page will be called search. Let's put another div class. Mobi data is actually responsible for the mobile flexibility. Shall be soon seeing it and how it works in the website that we published. And they are. This is for the icon font itself. It will help us to determine, actually you can just use it to determine the size of the icon, and put some styling. Its color, we want to have a color similar to this. Let's see if I remember this color code 6263, then 6663. That's the color code that we're using here. Then we work on font size also. I have a font size of about 17 pixels. That will be enough. Okay. then we shall have left. I'm moving it from the left border about 20 pixels from the left border. It is not good. We are not closing, we are actually continuing. Okay, closing the size and starting the left. So now the left is the spans. First of all, I have to implement some spans. Those are going to be acting like stacks themselves, and they're helping us to make the stacks for the hamburg. So we're going to implement something like how many spans? Around 4 or 5 will be enough. Okay, now those are 2. I think we need 4. So it will be perfectly enough. Then we're going to be having, of course, let's first close the div. And we close the hyperlink itself. And then we close the button itself. Okay, so now we can go ahead and implement another. That was for the icon, the favicon, the one that we click on and it drops. This is actually the thing. You might not see it here, but we have implemented it. You have to first inspect for you to see it. It's inside here, though we have some glitches. We have separated from the word, but once you click it and it will drop down, you can see it. We have to fix it anyway. We are going to fix it by all means, and it will be ready to go. So let's first continue and implement the search icon itself, because now we implemented this, and now we are now implementing the search icon itself. Okay, we are going to implement it as a button, just like the previous one. Obviously, have to give it a class, almost the same class, navbar, toggler. We did this. Let's put this must come. Yeah, toggler. And navbar, toggler. The other one was toggler right, and this one was going to be toggler left. These are all CSS classes and JS classes that are included in the Bootstrap framework. So I'm just using them, and I will be referencing to the Bootstrap frameworks. And I will be explaining even more how to use them and edit them, and they help you to make your own website using their CSS and JS. So for you just have to implement the HTML and then put the classes that will be connecting right into the Bootstrap framework using the CSS and taking advantage of the JS JavaScript. This is pure HTML for website development, and it's actually current Bootstrap 5. After this, you can go ahead and host our website, but that will be after we have coded the website. So please ensure to be around as I show you how to host websites online for free without any cost. And then it will also have a free domain, no cost, and it will be hosted there forever, no hosting fees. Hopefully this is going to be working for most of the developers. but I'm making this now once and for all, so we shall be replicating it in other projects. That's why I decided to hard code it, not to make any error, not to make any mistakes. So I have to be sure that I hard coded it myself, and we shall be just reusing it, no more coding. Okay. Now, so call the controls. This will obviously be equal to nav bar. We would want the supported content, and then area. This time expanded, almost the same like the button that we just implemented. We just need this to be on false. And we talk about the area label. Now next are the spans. But before the spans, do we need a hyperlink? We might need one, but this one I think is just a hamburg, and the hamburg already has its links, but I'm dropping it down so we don't need to add any hyperlinks, just like we did with the search icon before. We're just going to implement a div class. Then we call it hamburg. Hamburg is actually the drop down itself. The what comes that drop down. I'll be showing you all this. So this was for the search icon, and this is the drop down hamburg. Let's go ahead and drop a few spans for it. But we've already done the spans here, so we can just copy and paste. Wow. I just want this. Try copy, try paste. Just need 4, just like the previous ones. 2, 3, 4. That's enough. We're going to go ahead and close our div. Then close our button too. Okay. So let's move on to the logo section. If at all you want to add the logo, if at all you don't want to add the logo, we shall continue and also show the brand name, but the code for the logo will be implemented. If at all you want it, you can just activate it. So this is the code for the image, which happens to be the nav logo, nav band logo, or the company logo for that case. You can implement it whenever you want. So let's put another span, and in this span, it's a number in BR span, of course. We are going to implement the brand name of the company. Show brand. display 1, you can have display 2, display 3 up to display 7. And now we're going to connect this to index page itself with HTML. Margin left, give it 0 pixels. And then we shall see the web browse. That's the title of the company. So now we can go ahead and close our tags. Our link tag and our span. Maybe not forgetting our div. Okay, so let's go ahead and implement another div. I will provide this code below, and it should be available to you on the link to just download and use. Connect it search.html. Give it a padding top about 5 pixels, and also padding right. It's around 7 pixels. And padding left. Also give it 7 pixels. Now bottom padding give it 5 pixels. Now down here, you've got to close the main div, the sub main div. You also close the nav. And finally close off the section. Okay, so now you can head over to CSS. This is the HTML. Let's head over to start the CSS. We're going to start with the nav bar itself. So right here, let's just start by giving it a background. BG color. Transition, no transition, so it's none. Minimum height, 77 pixels. Padding, give 0.5 orange. So that is done. We can move on to another parameter, which is nav. Alpha drop down. For this part, this is part 1. Let us continue from here, probably in part 2. So make sure to follow up for part 2 such that we continue, finish an hour, then we go ahead and see how we can do the other sections. But for example, today you can just provide all the simple codes that we've just used as source code. Okay. Then also for the nav,